proctor with. Wife cheated in front of our son. My soon-to-be ex-wife and I are both 26, and we have a 5-year-old son and 10-month-old girl together. I work as one of the managers at an IT company whilst she works as a receptionist at a hospital. She hasn't been working much due to pregnancy and maternity leave. I'm quite an outgoing person, whereas she is quite introverted and only really enjoys spending time with close family members, her family plus me and the children, and friends she's known since childhood. On Saturday, July 1st, 2023, an ex-employee from my place of work, age 23, came to my house thinking I would be around because he knows I don't work on Saturdays. He wanted to give me important documents that I had left at his house the previous day when we were discussing work-related matters. My wife opened the door and didn't know who he was, so he explained himself that he works for me, and then she allowed him inside and offered him coffee whilst he waits for me. I was at my parents' house 5 miles away. This is what happened next according to this ex-employee, as best I can remembering him saying over the phone 2 days ago, our conversation. Employee: do you know about me and your wife? Me: what do you mean, explain. Employee: remember that day last month when you weren't home and I came to drop off documents, and sorry because I should have called you beforehand? Me: yes, so what? Employee: after your wife invited me in and offered to make coffee, we began to talk and quickly bonded over literature. She was very friendly, and I know what I'm about to tell you was very wrong of me to do, but we started kissing, and your son, who came into the living room at that moment, then asked who I was, and she told him not to worry, that he should just go watch TV. We then went upstairs and, slept together. Me: are you joking? Because if you're just trying to cause trouble, don't. Employee: no, it's not a lie. I just thought I would tell you because that little boy saw his mother with someone else, and years down the line, if you ever did find out, I wouldn't want you to think that I scared a little boy without caring. Remember that your wife is the married one, not me. I didn't force her. Me: I don't believe you at all. Employee: that is why I resigned, July 7th, because I didn't know whether you knew or not and would rather resign than have a sacking on my record. Me: I'll ask her, and if true, I'll deal with you appropriately. Employee: okay, but like I said, I didn't force her, not did I do anything illegal. You won't hear from me again, sorry. I was livid with anger and hurt at the same time. This is an employee who only started working for me in May, and I'm certain she never even knew he existed up until that day. I asked her, who denied it at first but then owned up to what happened after she realized the severity of the situation, including the employee quitting. She said she is very sorry and doesn't know what came over her. I then said, apparently our son saw you, and then she began crying. I said to her that I was going to stay with my parents for a few days whilst I decide what to do. My parents, and even her family members too, are very supportive of me and do not condone what she did. I've seen my son on FaceTime and baby daughter too, and told them that I will be with them soon. I've decided that there is no coming back from this and will definitely get a divorce from my wife, but the only issue is custody and finances. I don't want to be like the many men who get a divorce due to the fault of their wives only to lose the house and only see the kids on the weekends. How do I go about this to ensure I don't lose the house and that I see my kids as equally, if not more than her? I live in England, BTW. Mariah's 38. My 38F confession couldn't have gone any worse. So to recap, I, 38F, had an affair with my coworker, 44M, after having a dead bedroom with my husband, 42M. This had been going on for about 4 years. Felt like roommates. No affection, rarely sex, and it was just about him getting off. I cried, begged for him to come to counseling, and tried fixing it any way I could. He brushed it off. Then I started an affair that's been going on throughout this year. No, I'm not excusing what I've done, just giving context to the road traveled. So I decided to tell my husband. I accepted the fact that my marriage won't improve and that I just have false hope, and it would be best to let him know what I've done and accept that divorce is most likely the next step. I wrote 2 letters. One that would be very detailed and one that would skim over details. I planned on letting him choose which one he wanted as suggested by others. This didn't go as planned at all. I told him I needed to talk to him, that it was important. He said okay in a minute. He was tinkering with his motorcycle. Didn't want to push because I was really nervous. But when he was done, he was in the living room watching TV. I approached and told him we needed to talk. He said, "What do you want?" "I'm watching TV." I told him it's important. He said, "Can't it wait?" I walked off. An hour goes by and I go downstairs and he's gone. I call him and ask where he was. He said he went to his friend's house. I said, "Why would you just leave when I said we needed to talk?" He said, "Geez, relax, we can talk later." I hung up and started packing. I've been brushed off so many times during our marriage and I'm done with it. Called my best friend who knew everything and had even tried talking to him for me a few times about the neglect I felt. She said if I needed to, I could move in with her. So that was now the plan. Husband gets back while I'm still packing and asks what I'm doing. I said leaving. He said, "What the hell is your problem?" This is when I lost it. Again, not saying this is okay. But this shows the amount of anger and resentment that I have. I didn't realize just how much resentment I had built up. I don't yell, but I began yelling at the top of my voice. "Me, I'm fking done. I'm done being your fking roommate. I'm done begging you to show affection. I'm done begging to talk to you. I'm done trying to fix things by myself. Him, geez, you're so dramatic. Heaven forbid I can relax for a bit. Me, all you do is relax. That's fine, don't worry about it. I'm not bugging you anymore." Him, "God, what is it?" Me, "Don't worry about it. You never worried about it. Have laid next to you crying my eyes out begging for you to give a damn, begging you to just hold me, kiss me, hug me, hell FK me consistently. I've begged you to come to counseling or do anything that would show I'm not in this alone." Him, "Oh, here you go, boo-hoo. If you're so unhappy, how about you find someone else to screw around with?" Me, "I have." Him, "What?" Me, "Since January." Him, "Are you serious?" Me, "OH, now you care. Now that someone else has been doing what you were supposed to be doing, now you care. Now boo-hoo, right?" The screaming match continued and I showed him the letters that I had wrote but just said bluntly what I had been doing. Again, I never yelled but I lost it. This was years of frustration triggered by being brushed off yet again. My best friend showed up, we were still arguing. Grabbed my bags and left. I was still going off in the car the entire ride. When we got to her place, I fell to my knees and started screaming, "This isn't what I wanted," over and over. Just completely broke. Because this really isn't what I wanted. I was so beyond happy when we got married. We were so in love. I don't know why it changed, and at this point it didn't matter. It was dead and I helped kill it. My hope died right then too. People say, "Why don't you just leave?" It was hope, as silly as you may think that is. It was hope that things would change. Even when you know it's unrealistic, you make yourself believe that maybe things can get back to where they were. I always felt guilty, but also always felt neglected, brushed aside and pushed away. This made me angrier and covert than I realized. My best friend just held me and tried to calm me down. I napped. Was so exhausted emotionally. Felt sick and nervous about the argument, but there's no coming back from that. Went back this morning to grab the rest of my stuff. He made some sly comments which I ignored. Just told him I would be staying with my friend permanently but will continue paying my half of the bills until things are settled. Would be unfair to leave him to pay everything. He said, "You're probably gonna be staying with some guy." I just responded with, "Whatever, bye." The reality is that I should have left a long time ago. Instead, I stayed and became something I never wanted to be. But again, saying just leave is so easy until it's you in that situation. This was supposed to be forever, but nope. So yeah, that's my update. I apologize if this is long or unclear or anything. Also apologize if this is triggering, but again just goes to show how bad things got. This is my reality.
All the townsfolk rejoiced.